Welcome to another kick-ass edition of Tracks from the Damned. How the fuck are we doing on a Saturday-licious night?
Damn good, ready for some bourbon and verbiage to put me to sleep.
My bourbon-fueled diatribes about nothing. Or the useless information that falls out of my head. But hey, Kyler. Man, hey, Kyler. Thanks for coming back. Fantastic. Share the shit out. Yeah. Share it. And to all the new fans we made last night during the October Noir interview, holy shit. Right. Pleased to announce that after I've seen the numbers yet today, they have tripled. It's still being shared, and it's well over. It's almost 150, and it's growing. So, man, thank you all so much. It's because of you motherfuckers out there. The fans is what makes these shows fucking just killer. So I just wanted to make sure I thanked everybody in case, there's some folks that did come back tonight or will come back tonight. So
absolutely.
Hell yeah. So we got something new for y'all this week. It's different. And I loved personally the challenge.
Yeah.
The 10 best albums that you may not have ever heard of. So Genghis agrees that it was a tough one.
For sure.
I don't know. It definitely was a challenge for me, but kind of after I got into it a little bit, thought through it, I'm like, you know what? I bet you there's people out there that never listened to it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a chance. All right. So before we get into this fucking mess, let's take a quick commercial break to the awesome Villain Arts Tattoo Conventions. Check it out.
I actually don't have that one in this folder.
Son of a bitch. We're going to try another one.
It's a one I don't have in here.
You pick it, goddammit, because you set the shit up.
All right. Check out this
magically make it appear.
Check out this commercial from our sponsor, Desaia's Creep Shop.
That's right, goddammit. After we finally, scratched our asses and figured out what commercial we had for you. That's right. Spooky season does not end at Halloween, people. We collect all year long. Everybody does, for the most part. Anyone that likes us anyway. So definitely take yourself over to DesaiasCreepShop.com and pick yourself up some new spooky treats or spooky apparel, because it is getting a bit chilly out there. So
it is. And she's got some great new Krampus hoodies.
Yes. It's Krampus. We are in the season of the Krampus. So get your Let me try again. Krampus groove on. I couldn't even pop that out. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I think we'll do it like we normally do. Let's go Genghis, then me, then Loved Beast.
All right. Let's see, where do I start?
First album that you've never heard of, but is so good.
This one I chose merely because they have a serious marketing problem and not nearly enough people listen to it. Or any other album. So I go with the most recent one. I'm talking about the side project of Ricard from Rammstein, Emigrate, and their album, The Persistence of Memory, from last year.
Hell fucking yeah. You know, I have to agree with that tenfold because the moment that Lindemann did the Lindemann stuff, it was an instant success just because of his fucking name. But when it came to Ricard, everyone was like, what? What's this?
Seriously.
It's like, dude, he's the lead fucking guitar player of Rammstein. If anything, check that fucking record out just because of that alone. He
And
is
people don't.
rifflicious. You know, it's a little different, but
Right.
you know, I dug it.
Killer record.
I dug it. Have you had a chance to hear it there, Hoofbeast?
Nope. No, I haven't. Gosh, so I think maybe I've thrown a lot more of my time into black metal, and so I've missed out on a lot of the industrial kind of end of things. So there are some holes in my game, but what
Not
I'm
a problem.
damn good.
Actually, I mean, I think you would probably like it, especially you know being a guitar player.
Yeah.
So, what's up, Diana? Thanks
Hey,
for
up?
tuning in again. She actually has a band that we may not have heard of.
Kyler said.
Oh, wait a minute. So, sorry. It was Kyler, not Diana. My bad.
The Covenant.
So, Covenant. Now, is it really Covenant with a K?
Yeah, I know Covenant with a C.
Me too. So, kind of confused. Let us know. All right. So, most of my list is going to take us back a bit, maybe 30, 40 years a bit.
All right.
So, I think I'm going to start with the one. Well, I have two really great golden oldies, but I'm going to start with, and you know, you might think it's kind of funny, but I chose them for a reason because this is the only album out of their catalog that gets overlooked every single time. I'm talking about Judas Priest, early 70s, and it's called Rock and Rolla.
I've never heard of it.
So many motherfucking people only caught on to Judas Priest when the 80s British metal wave, steel, whatever the fuck you want to call it, came through, and they were like, oh, Judas Priest, these guys are awesome. Guess what? They started in 77. That was when their first record came out. They actually had 2 albums in the 70s. And guess what? They don't sound anything like they do on that first album they put out in the 80s. And the thing that I love about this album is it showed the depth, range, and creativity that they had. Because let's talk about the 70s. Who dominated? Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath.
Yep.
So with them being the new kids on the block, they kind of tried to do some similar stuff. So you're hearing Halford, and you think his voice is high, period, even just from the 80s. His voice was higher in the 70s. He was much, much younger guy. So, I mean, he was like making Robert Plant look like he was eating his foot for the last 20 years. Seriously. It was that good. And the musicianship, holy fuck. If you were a partaker of the devil's lettuce or anything else for that matter, this is a record that you can kick back to, get high, and just enjoy some killer music. So that's why I chose that, even though, you know, everybody knows who Judas Priest is, but they don't know they had 2 records in the 70s.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of the other one, but it's the one that has like
I forget too.
I right here in my collection right here.
Nice.
I can't think of it, but they played 2 songs off of that album when I saw them last time. But
really,
I really like your perspective in that you went and found a wildly popular and respected band, and you found something that is more obscure that a lot of people will not have listened to.
For real. Let me see real quick. I might be able to find it for you Because now I'm curious.
Shit.
Because I know Sin After Sin.
Is it that? Let's see. Where the hell is it?
Or was it Stained Class?
Ah, here it is. So this one I think it came out in 1974.
Oh, it's even earlier. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
This Sad Wings of Destiny.
Okay. Yep, that's on here. 1976, they have it listed on Google.
This might have been
Fuck you, Google.
84, but
I mean, for some of the things Google has said, like calling Rammstein a doom band, can we really trust anything they say anymore?
A doom gothic band.
is that JD? Did JD write that?
No, it's Google.
He's
Find the
the
Google homepage.
mastermind behind every bad anything. For real.
Fucking JD.
And Genghis, honestly, if you haven't checked out that record, check out some of the cuts. They're really good and really fucking interesting. It's not that same boom tap, boom boom tap, boom tap. It's like you know, that kind of shit. It's different. It's really different, seriously. And you can kind of see how it like slowly evolved into British Steel, which came out in 1980. So.
You might, Reaper, you might have to patent that rendition that you just did for us.
All Genghis has to do is go back and make a clip out of it. I don't know what the fuck we'd use it for, but it might be fun.
Awesome. It was awesome.
Kills me.
Each.
You know, I live for rhythm. Rhythm is me. What can I say?
All right. Well, my choice came out on Road Racer Records in
Ooh, one of my favorite fucking labels from back in the day.
Yeah. And so I didn't care for what is his name? The big dude in Candlemass. It starts with an M. I can't think of his name.
I think I know where you're going, though.
The big guy. But I didn't like his operatic. So I heard, mirror, mirror on the wall. His voice was a little bit too, it had a little bit of a goofy factor to me. Although, now I love it. It doesn't bother me at all now.
I actually think at the time, though,
Messiah.
They thought Hokey was actually in. You know what I mean? For the times. They never heard nothing like that.
Yeah, it was the guy is Messiah. And so I really liked everything about Candlemass, but back in the late 80s and early 90s, I just couldn't get past Messiah, although he didn't sing on the first album. So I found this band and I was like, holy shit. So I saw it in Metal Maniacs magazine in the winter.
It used to be one of my favorite magazines.
Oh yeah, I actually had a couple letters to the editor published in there.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyways, this singer later joined Candlemass, and I think about 2005, and I think he did 1 or 2 EPs and 2 albums. And this album is one that I've written people when they're doing on YouTube, they're doing their videos where they've never been into music before or into metal before, and then they finally get into metal, and I'm just like, man, I wish they could listen to if they like Metallica, if they like Candlemass, they will love this, because this band reminds me a lot of Metallica in some ways. They do have a bit of thrash, but man, Rob can freaking sing. Solitude Aeternus.
Oh, damn.
Guaranteed banger. This is Into the Depths of Sorrow. Guaranteed banger from front to back. This album, there is not a weak song on it. Opaque Divinity is probably my favorite on there, but this entire album is so good. So good. If you like Master of Puppets era Metallica and you like Candlemass, well, here you go. And man, can Rob ever sing. To me, he's a much better singer than Messiah.
Hell yeah. Absolutely.
Solitude Aeternus, Into the Depths of Sorrow.
Nice.
Nice. All right. My next one, I'm going with the band is called The Foreshadowing, and the album is Oinos from 2010. They're a Greek goth metal band that I saw several years ago.
Ooh.
They played at a show that Moonspell was at. They're fucking cool, and no one ever talks about them, so I'm talking about them. Their singer looks like Dave Grohl on crack, but they have a great sound, and I really
Did you
enjoyed
say
that album.
looks like?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Dave
Yowza.
Grohl was his Nirvana days.
Yeah, when he was much younger.
Yeah. Look emaciated.
For sure. Let me see here. Okay, I'm going to go with this one. This was a record that, I mean, it inspired me on so many different levels, and it's such an obscure record for most people because not everybody follows what other like famous musicians do, the side projects they do, stuff like that. Genghis mentioned one before. So I had to go with Geezer. So the name of the band is Geezer, and that's because it's fucking Geezer Butler from Black Sabbath. And he only did 3 records, but the one that is just a metal fucking masterpiece was the first effort called Plastic Planet. So you take 50% Geezer Butler on bass. You already got a win-win. Then you add Burton C. Bell as the vocalist from fucking Fear Factory. And I believe it was also Fear Factory's drummer at the time, Raymond Herrera. And the guitarist, I forget who that was, but it was somebody from yet another band. And you get this fucking onslaught of a metal band that you never thought you would ever hear Geezer Butler do. I'm talking fast, thrashy, technical thrash, whatever you want to call it. And Geezer is laying it down like only Geezer can do. And of course, it was Burton C. Bell in his prime because he had, taken time off from Fear Factory to do the record. I think they may have toured as that particular version of Geezer, but let me tell you, if you need something to add to your collection that is an ass kicker from start to fucking finish, this is the record for you. You have that screaming, and then you have the brilliant fucking like clean singing that Burton does. So you get best of both worlds on the record. And it's just flawless.
Great choice. Great choice. What one of my favorite bassists of all time.
Me too.
To like that's one hell of a lineup. So this was like 2005, 2007? Yeah. Cool.
It was early on, like during that time period where Sabbath wasn't sure what the fuck they were doing.
Yeah.
So Geezer's like, I'm gonna fucking collab. And boy, did he. And I recently found out he collabed again back in 2018 with Matt Sorum, formerly of The Cult and formerly of the Guns N' Roses, last incarnation, as the drummer, and a couple of other real notable guitar player vocalists. Fuck, I think it's called like Something in the Sand or something like that. Check it out because was good. It was really good.
Raise your hand if you'd like to join and play anything with Geezer Butler. Holy cow.
I'm
I
there.
can't play, but I'm there.
I would literally tickle his left nut if I had to, just to play with him one time. Shit.
Oh, your drumming style would go with that too.
Yeah, well,
Probably, because I mean, I was a Bill Ward, fucking fan long before I found all these other people. So I'm still Bill Ward at heart, always will. My boy is still playing, which is awesome. He's in his own project right now, and it's different, but you can definitely tell it's old Bill.
Yeah, the guy they had on their last few tours, Sabbath, that is, that dude was a freaking monster.
Oh, Clafudos.
But I really wanted to see Bill Ward. I never.
Yeah, I did not want to see Tommy Clafudos. I mean, for Ozzy's band, awesome.
Right.
But to step into Sabbath, I would have rather have seen the guy who played on the 13 record.
Yeah.
Let's be real,
yeah.
because the drummer for Rage Against the Machine did a fucking amazing job on that record.
Yeah.
But fucking overrated.
Oh,
It's true. It's true. They're a bit overrated, but yes, I still have a soft spot for Slayer. Always will. Kerry King's fucking crazy, demonic sounding solos and squealing are legendary. And let's face it, Dave fucking Lombardo.
mm-hmm.
He kind of catapulted drumming to a whole new level before death metal was ever created.
That is true.
Guys,
I think he influenced a lot of them. Even though it was thrash, I think he influenced a lot of them.
I don't know if I can agree with you guys about putting Slayer down. There are some albums that I didn't like, especially in the 2000s, that I didn't care for so much. But Rain and Blood,
The classics.
Heaven, and Seasons in the Abyss. Oh my God!
Got to admit, though, God Hates Us All was a fucking sick ass record.
Yeah, that is, and that is one that could be on this list. A lot of
And
people,
that is largely due in part to the drummer Paul Bostaph.
yeah, he's a monster.
He's groovy. He was something that Dave wasn't. Dave was a fucking machine. Paul can groove and beat your ass at the same time with one hand tied behind his back.
I thought when Divine Intervention came out, you know how the first song opens up with his just kind of like Painkiller, the beginning of Painkiller. I just thought that was nuts. And then the album was a bit flat to me. It didn't.
I think that was Diabolique de Musica, I believe, or however you fucking say that.
Divine Intervention was the one that came out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think about 93. Okay.
All right.
For me, this is one of my bones to pick with. This band was left out of the big four. The big three.
I wonder if it's who I think it is, but go ahead.
It's not Testament. You might have thought that. I love Testament, but to me, these guys groove and they're just, to me, heavier, better songwriters to me. And I couldn't believe, and there are some albums and some songs that I really like out of Anthrax, but to me, Anthrax is overrated. That's an overrated.
I'm not going to disagree with you there. They had their time until they became uncool.
When they had Engines, when that song came out, like that really catapulted them, and they kind of rode those coattails, I would say, more than anything else. Yeah, there are a couple of other songs before, but that Among the Living album, to me, it doesn't stack up to a lot of Testament albums, and it definitely doesn't stack up to Overkill.
Fucking Overkill, yes!
Overkill, The Years of Decay. What a dynamic, and yet here's my second offering that is quite doomy. So if you're into doom metal and you haven't heard Overkill, The Years of Decay. Now, they were on Atlantic Records, and so they did sell a lot of copies of this, but this is my kind of bone to pick with whomever ordained who the big three or big four were. And
Don't ask me who the fuck did that. It was probably JD.
Yeah, probably. From now on, he's J fucking D. But anyways, this album, there is no weak song.
Nope.
And
that record's fucking legendary.
Skull Crusher that comes out is so slow and doomy. And the groove that's in this album as well. And The Years of Decay is either my favorite or second favorite on that. We have, oh gosh, Who Tends the Fire? Who Tends the Fire? Oh man, this whole fucking album is so awesome. And I had a friend from New Jersey, an Overkiller from New Jersey, and he was totally into them. He also got me into Nuclear Assault, which is one of my honorable mentions for this as well.
Ah, for sure.
Overkill, Years of Decay, absolute banger from front to back. I guarantee you will enjoy this fucking album. These guys should have been there. They were a much better thrash band than Anthrax. Way better to me. And to me, I like them better than Testament. And I liked Testament. These guys have a lot more groove and a lot more character. And
They do.
And they're doomy, a lot of them.
I like the production as well.
Yeah, excellent production.
I can remember I literally bought that and Nuclear Assault based on the front covers. Back in the day when you go to an actual fucking CD record store and there it is and you see the cover, you didn't get to hear singles or fucking nothing. There were no videos or promos or nothing. You just had to look and say, I'm going to check this shit out. Next thing you know. You know what I mean?
Was it Game Over or Handle with Care?
Handle with Care, actually.
Okay. And there's another one that I have. They're back there. Right. All right, Genghis. Hey, Genghis, you're 2 for 2. These are albums I haven't heard yet that I'm gonna have.
I'll see if I can keep up that up here. Unless you've been following us or Mischief for a long time, there's a good chance you may not have heard of Raven Black. And I chose her album for first album from 2016. Shit, I just crossed it off my list. I can't read what the title was. 7 something.
Are you saying total albums?
No, it's the name of the album.
Oh, okay. I was.
But I crossed it off my list. Now I can't read what it was. Hang on. It's like 7 Sins. Okay. I don't even know how to describe what the hell she is. She's a badass female-fronted metal group. And I really like her. She's got like this little like, I don't know. I don't even know. She screams like the best of them.
Okay. So really extreme vocals. Are they doomy, thrashy, speed metal-y, power metal?
I believe it's known as carnival metal.
Yeah, that's what she calls herself, carnival metal.
It's also a female lead.
Yeah.
And they've been around a very long time. I'm surprised it never showed up on my radar. But then again, Ohio is Ohio. So you don't always get to hear about the cool shit going on the other half of the United States. But as I understand, they were originally managed by Des Ferrara from Coal Chamber. And they kind of they're on their own now, doing their own thing, still going strong. So, and that was how I first heard about it too, and really dig the shit. It's awesome. I like it. Definitely when you think about strong female lead singers, she's definitely one of them.
Absolutely.
She brings a lot to the table, more than some of the ones out there. Especially for being independent and having such a loyal following.
Absolutely.
Okay, hold on one second. I'm just checking one thing because I don't want my facts to be off. I hear you. Leave me alone, goddammit. All right. So the next album that I'm going to go with was one of those records that kind of came out from nowhere as I was so immersed in the great thrash of the 80s, as well as the horror metal going on, discovering, more Black Sabbath albums, more Merciful Fate records and stuff like that. And, King Diamond's career also at the same time. But the first real stab at hardcore music for me, the scene as it is, somebody turned me on, I cannot remember, to a band known as the Cro-Mags.
Oh, yes. Vegans.
And the name of the record is Age of Quarrel. And I heard this thing for the first time, and never having heard of hardcore or anything that has to do with like its sound or anything like that. New York is infamous for their hardcore scene, which, stretches back to the 80s. And this record blew me the fuck away. And the first time I ever saw a picture of Harley Flanagan, I was like, this dude could kill me. His voice is so fucking unique. They were so aggressive. I don't know what you'd call it, like stomping a mud hole in somebody's ass type attitude. It was something that the other metal bands were not focusing on. The guy's bald-headed, got a big old gap in his mouth, and he's covered in fucking tattoos, which kind of was not the thing for most metal bands back in the 80s. So it's like there's just this whole, like, I don't know. I didn't know what to call it, like prison rock or something. But it was just so good that I don't know. I started getting into a lot more aggressive style bands like that were heavy, but on a different level of heavy. So,
yeah, good choice. Good choice. Big hardcore band in the mid.
They're still going.
Yeah.
They ain't giving up. They're still putting records out. So, shit. And they still bring it. They bring it like no tomorrow. So, anybody who's out there listening in Three Witches Land, check them out if you never heard of them, because guess what? They ain't fucking going away.
Sure.
Like in their mid 50s to early 60s.
And he's still built like a brick shithouse for being 5 foot nothing.
Yeah.
He's not a very tall guy, but let me tell you, you get a couple of whiskeys in that guy, he's going to tear your fucking head off.
Yeah. And I'm pretty
Just
sure,
love it. Stuff.
He's a vegan as well.
And isn't that interesting?
I feel like a lot of metal artists are.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, there
and
are.
A lot of people don't know that.
Especially,
they probably think they're like, subhumans or something.
I was amazed when I found out the band Avatar is vegan.
Oh, that's cool. Didn't know that.
That is very cool, actually.
Well, this guy has been for 31 years.
Damn.
Hey, congrats, brother.
Yeah, so I get it.
Mean, I am very much removed from red meat. I don't eat red meat. I only eat turkey, chicken, or fish. That is it.
Right. No, y'all know I'm a veggie.
And I love fish. I love fish. I love me some fish. I'm not going to eat anything at your store, but I do love fish.
I've got some that are pretty big at the store. All right.
What? How did I fuck him up with that comment? Okay. That's a kind of I guess an old timers phrase. Built like a brick shithouse means the guy's fucking ripped.
Yeah.
He is definitely one of those, pint-sized muscle-bound guys like Glenn Danzig.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Who looks so good for 66, 67. I can't fucking believe it.
Yeah. Right on.
Shit. I mean, I'm doing pretty good for 45, but fuck. I don't know what the next 20 years is going to look like.
All right, Hoof Beast.
Okay, now that I put that image in everyone's head.
All right.
Where's my makeup?
My next one is a band that I mentioned last week. It was in one of my most evil albums of all time, and
Nice.
evil songs of all time. And so this is their more recent album. It just came out like 2 years ago. And this is Achilles, and that scary ass witch again. Who came,
It's like a trademark.
and once again, if you're into black metal, this is really extreme black metal, but it's very different from other black metal because of the type of absolute black eerie atmosphere. I've never heard black metal that had atmosphere like this. I mean, like Agalloch and Wolves in the Throne Room have atmosphere, but it's a lot more tame than this. This is not tame. This is, you are being tortured, haunted, possessed by demons. The entire album. This is just like last week. This album is one that it will probably give you some goosebumps if you let your mind get in the right place as you're going to sleep and the room is pitch black dark and you really give it a chance. This album is amazing. This is Achilles Melanois. Really, really, really good album. Highly.
How do you spell that?
Achilles is AKHLYS. AKHLYS, and it's Melanois. I think I pronounced it correctly. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
Shit. I just literally pulled them up on Spotify because I wanted to get them into my library so I could listen to it. They got 20,499 listeners per month currently. These guys are going places.
And I believe they're out of it's either Colorado Springs or Denver. They're out of,
Damn, they're not even far from me.
Yeah.
I'm like 8 hours away from Denver. Shit.
If you get this, I would be so jealous. Like I so bad.
Oh, fucking A. I'm going to reach out to them. I'll see if we can't get them on the underground because,
yeah.
I mean, I like what I'm seeing and how you've talked about them. Man, we should get them on there.
Yeah,
I think we should.
And
Agreed.
they create the darkest, most possessed atmosphere I have ever heard.
Which is fucking killer.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right, Brother Genghis. I don't think we have any other commercials, so we're just going to keep going.
Sure we do. We'll wait till we get halfway, then we can do a commercial. All right. My next
Go right
one.
ahead.
These guys do not get nearly as much love as they deserve. This is a horror punk band called Bloody Hammers.
Ooh.
I've heard of them.
I'm a big fan. I checked out their album. They just had new one come out. I haven't checked out yet, but that one come out last year called Song. Was it last year? Might have been 2020. The Songs of Unspeakable Terror, and it had basically songs like a little vignette of like, you know, one's about Jack the Ripper, one's about like aliens killing people, you know, shit like that.
It's got all the elements for me.
I really fucking dig it.
Mirth, murder, death, destruction. I mean,
oh yeah,
what more do you want?
oh yeah, they've got great sound and like their music videos are fantastic. The one for The Hands of the Ripper about Jack the Ripper, it literally feels like you're watching an old movie.
Mm.
Hell yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Okay, so damn, there's just so many.
I know.
I think I have a lot of honorable mentions here too, but I think I'm gonna go with this next one. And everyone knows who the fucking Misfits are.
Of course.
There's not a motherfucker out there who does not know at least what the Misfit skull looks like, the Fiend skull, all that shit. Well, the one guitarist that is synonymous with the Misfits is Mr. Doyle.
Of course.
So let me tell you, when I heard the Abominator album by Doyle, which is his own fucking band, he's got obviously his own lead singer, Dr. Chud, on the drums. I forget the one dude's name, but he kind of reminds me of like a more sinister Wolverine with his mutton chops and black hair and all that shit. I forget the name of the bass player, but nonetheless, heard that record and fucking fell in love with it. He literally kind of transcended that horror punk facade into his own thing. It got heavier and slower. And that's what it's all about. It was nice to see him get the fuck out of the Misfits 2 minutes and 40 second songs, 1 minute, 25 seconds, one of them, and actually like riff. He is legit riffing. He's chuggalicious. And I've always liked Dr. Chud because I thought his, grooves are tasty, uses a little bit of double bass. So, if you're just a fan of good fucking metal, you'll love this band. Check it out. As a matter of fact, he's on tour right now. But yeah, if you're going to start anywhere, start with Abominator. I love that fucking record. To me, it was pioneering because nobody really thought he could do anything but Misfit tunes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like he learned how to play guitar overnight. It's a different side of him because, it's not just wham, 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 wham. Suddenly we're going, all that kind of shit. It's great.
I love these demonstrations.
Such a drummer. I'm sorry. I can't help it.
Damn good drummer, too.
I try. I like to play.
All right. Well, you guys have given me a whole pile of music to go listen to. I love it.
Yeah, man. Likewise.
Yeah, definitely.
Likewise. There's shit that I'm gonna be checking out too. So.
All right, brothers. Now I'm gonna show you the future of metal.
Okay.
Let us glimpse into your glory.
And the future of metal began in 2011. This
So
band,
soon.
they're out of Sweden, and they have 3 full lengths out. Every single one of them is bizarre. So it's the Time Signature Change, super heavy, 7, probably 8-string guitars. The tone is amazing, drumming outstanding, such dynamic musicians. How they keep time together as a band with the different types of changes. So Reaper, when you listen to these guys, you will be like, holy fuck. Listen to them with headphones, any of these bands. And I'm going to listen to your bands only with headphones so I get the proper experience.
Hell yeah.
But this,
Absolutely.
you really need to get those lows and those mids. This band is all over the place the way they play. They're going to take you over here, zigzag over here, pull you back, forward, all over the place. And I'm talking about Viljarta, and the album is Macedon. I'll get Viljarta so you guys can see how it's spelled real close there.
I'm intrigued as fuck to the imagery on that album cover.
Oh, it's
Absolutely.
I hate to say it, but I'm still one of those guys. If I see an album cover that this fucking grabs me, I'm gonna listen to it, even if it sucks. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But from what you're telling me, it doesn't sound like it's gonna suck. So I definitely want to check it out, as long as it's not too like proggy / mathcore-ish, like Dillinger Escape Plan type stuff. I could probably get with it.
It is mathcore-ish, I will say that.
I knew it.
Like Dillinger gets a bit boring to me, and then there's the
Same.
way,
That's
way,
why I can't get with it.
the way they put their songs and stuff is a little bit too straightforward with Dillinger Escape Plan.
For sure.
So like these are extreme metal vocals, but like when I think of them, like when I think of Tool, and especially the album Lateralis, I just think of what fucking artists. Like, bow down. These guys are absolute artists. And when I think of Viljarta, I'm just like in absolute awe how they wrote this stuff. It is so original, so heavy, so complex, and so difficult to play and stay in time as a unit. Another fun fact is, out of my 10, I've only seen one of these bands. And so Viljarta is not one of them that I've seen. I've never seen Overkill, and I've never seen Solitude Aeternus. So.
I'm pretty sure Overkill is still going.
Oh, yeah, they are. Oh, yeah. I want to.
So you just might have a chance. Maybe you need to take one of those nostalgia cruises where Overkill will be played. Hey, Megadeth did it too.
Yeah.
They did those damn cruises, and apparently it's a hell of a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, all right. That one is now down officially on my list of listening.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, before we continue on, I'm going to run a quick commercial from Poison Valley Clothing.
Check it out. Never ever get tired of hearing that fucking song. Oh, by the way, that was Human the Hoof Beast. In case you didn't know. I don't know. There was something so Slayer-ish about the da na 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 na. Oh, just so reminiscent. I hear it. It's in the bones.
The beginning of my new song is different than this, harder to play than that beginning, but it's similar. It's going to start off pummeling you in the head.
Nice.
And I started working on drums also.
Cool. Most excellent. But most importantly, if you want some custom art, horror art, I don't know, you could pretty much call it, some stuff is even gothic-y a little bit. Check the shit out. He hand draws every design. His artistry is just amazeballs. And then, of course, all the bands that are supporting this clothing brand, such as the Doomsday Rejects, Drop Dead Dammit, and Sensation, just to name a few. So if you're fans of those bands, go get their shirts, because he takes their designs and makes them into something even better. So check it out.
Kyler, I actually am familiar with that band.
Wait, which one is it? Chaosium?
Chaosium, however you're supposed to say it.
Chaosium, maybe?
Yeah, however you're supposed to say it. Anyway, I am familiar.
I haven't heard of it.
They
Not
sound-
on my radar,
they sound
but I'll
a
check it
lot-
out, though.
They sound a lot like Korn.
Is it more like a direct ripoff, or do they have some taste?
They kind of walking a fine line.
Oh, okay. So there's a little bit of originality?
A little bit.
Is this more like 1994, 1998 Korn, or is this more like 2007 Korn?
Yeah, it's more like older Korn, I think.
Oh.
All right.
In my opinion, was the best Korn.
All right. Next one on my list. So there's this little group you've never heard of unless you're friends with Genghis. Or unless...
I must have heard of it then.
Oh, I know you have. Or unless you frequent anime conventions in the Midwest. And so that band is V is for Villains. But before they were V is for Villains, Mr. Agitator and his brother were their own thing called Digital Mindy, which were a lot heavier. Oh, what would I even call it? They're a lot heavier than their modern incarnation.
Was it more industrial?
Yes.
Okay. That's the first thing that popped to my mind because the guy is a hell of a keyboardist,
Oh, yeah.
synth player. So I could see where maybe there's some, Nine Inch Nails
Oh, absolutely.
/ Ministry in there somewhere.
Absolutely. It's very Ministry-ish. And they did an album in 2009 called Meet Mr. Agitator.
And the character was born from there, probably.
It was.
All right. I like that one. Most definitely, I will check it out.
If
So,
you can find it anywhere.
What's that?
If you can find it anywhere, you probably can't unless you hit them up and buy a copy.
Shit, I'll probably do it just because I'm fucking curious. I love me some Ministry. I do. I always have. Man, I was with Ministry before they brought in the metal aspect. I love the metal aspect, but there's nothing like listening to Every Day is Halloween by them.
Absolutely.
There's no electric guitar, nothing. It's just all fucking synth and samples and shit. I dug it. I still dig it. So I'm going to take a weird turn here because I am such an eclectic listener. Now, I mean, this is a decent sized band, a bit newer, maybe I'd say last 20 years probably. Some people, like Brian Setzer Orchestra.
Yes.
So if I say that name, it's very jazzy, very kind of like straight, 12-bar blues, a little bit of swang. But there are some of us out there that actually dig the idea of a death version of Brian Setzer Orchestra with a lot of, kind of heavier guitar, and it's just a little bit more slamming, and the singing is great. But it's all about different horror icons and stuff of that nature. So who I'm talking about is the Coffin Cats. That's who they are. And the album that I first got with them on was Born of the Motor. You basically have to, it's almost like the Misfits and horror punk just turned rockabilly, but in a heavy way.
I gotta check this.
I definitely recommend the song "The Texas Chainsaw Massacre" by them. It's so fucking hip. You can't help but just kind of go. Bass lines going, and I mean the drums are like that kind of like rockabilly thing where it's I'm gonna kill you tonight in the fucking shed. That's what I'm talking about. I love it. It's demented. I love I've said it many times before. I'm a musical nerd and I love it. I like shit that's demented and fun. So if you like that kind of thing, especially horror style, Coffin Cats is for you.
I'm intrigued. I will be checking it out. I've written it down.
It's pretty decent shit.
I don't have time. I don't have time to listen to all this week. I'm doing album review for
small doses. Small doses.
Music.
Maybe we need to do an episode where we just pick, our favorite things that the other two assholes have introduced us to.
All right, I love it. Oh, so good. All right.
Absolutely.
We could totally do it, No, seriously, I ain't bullshitting.
Another fun fact for mine is out of the 10 albums that I've chosen, I don't know how this happened. 6 of the 10 came out in 2011.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Happened. Here is another banger.
It's a magical year, isn't it?
So this album, let's see what Terrorizer. I used to get Terrorizer magazine all the time. I have a harder time finding it now. Terrorizer. I still get Decibel magazine. And Terrorizer.
Decibel, I really dig.
I love
Terrorizer.
Decibel.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've heard of it, but I've never actually had an opportunity to look through it. So I'll have to see if they have archives.
Yeah, they're really good. So Terrorizer magazine in 2011 said, "This is stunning and immersive. Mastodon, eat your hearts out."
Better than fucking Mastodon. Really?
No, they're not. They're actually quite different. The vocals and a lot of the tone and stuff, but the drumming isn't even anywhere near Brandaler's percussion. But
Okay.
you can see the relationship though. So these guys are, I don't know that I would call them metal gaze, although sometimes their genre is called metal gaze. So they do have growling, but a lot of clean stuff. Song structure is more kind of traditional in how they sing it, but man, they can write really, really good songs that you can drive down the road and sing to, because they mix clean vocals with growling, kind of like Mastodon type vocals, like Troy's vocals from Mastodon. So I'm talking about a band, and I don't know if you guys have heard of these guys, but this is Ghost Brigade. And
I've heard of it.
I have not.
Until Fear No Longer Defines Us.
Ooh, I like that title.
Excellent album. All like black and white, dreary photography on it, but
Nothing
really,
better. I love me some black and white.
really good song merchants. So whenever you need maybe a little break from super heavy music, but you don't want to go to pop or dream theater like Reaper so often does.
Oh, because I'm just kicking back to whatever that fucking song is called.
Pull me under.
No,
anyway.
I'll be listening to Rush.
I would
Seriously.
highly recommend Ghost Brigade. These guys are excellent. They have 3, maybe 4 albums. I have them all, but they're everyone is really good. But this to me is the one that stands out the most. Excellent,
Nice.
excellent choice. If you just want to listen to something that isn't quite so heavy and you're kind of in a good mood and you don't want to smash anything and let your anger out, this is pretty damn good.
Fuck yeah.
All right. My next one I am going with. I'll stick with the industrial subgenre here for a moment. This one is what?
I didn't say shit.
Kofi said something.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know you've left. You've had so many that were like industrial.
That's okay.
Okay, yeah.
We love ya.
All right. And this is a German industrial metal band that I've been a big fan of since last year. And I went all the way back and found their first album from 2010. The band is Lord of the Lost, and the album is Fears. And even in like all the fan groups and shit, no one ever talks about anything off this damn album, and I can't figure out why.
There is literally so many killer fucking German industrial metal bands coming out of Germany just in the last 10 fucking years. And I do remember this name. I don't think I've heard them, though. I don't think I've heard them. But
yeah, they put out a new album last year that I really fucking liked.
And it's called Lords of the Lost.
Yep, that's the band.
Yeah, I thought so. I may have read something because for the longest fucking time, and you could probably guess this, that all those German industrial bands were trying to be Rammstein copies.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really kind of nice to see, a band like you just suggested come out and do their own thing. like fucking what's the other one called? Powerwolf, but they're not industrial. They're more on the power metal side, but still,
Yeah.
there's some killer fucking bands coming out of Germany that is amazeballs.
That is very true.
All
I'm
right.
gonna have to listen to that. I will check that out.
I think I played one of their songs for you one time, Reaver. I swear I did.
Did you? You may have.
I probably did.
Okay.
Genghis, do you guarantee that if I spend my time listening to this album, I'm going to fucking love it?
Yes. Yes, I did.
Like it, but I fucking love it.
Yes.
All right.
The Genghis seal of approval has been given, folks.
Everything on my list, if you listen to it, you will not be disappointed.
All right.
And if you are disappointed, you might get Wolf Hulk.
So apparently, I must have read your mind because we're gonna stay in the realm of not industrial.
Mm.
It is metal, and it is from Germany. But you know, when we think of some of the great fucking power metal bands that came out of the 80s and on into the 90s, only they got forgotten about because of the travesty of fucking Slaughter and all these muscle-bound fucking girly-looking men singing as high as they can like they cut their nuts off. Suddenly took over the airways, and it's like, well, what happened to these great bands that were just starting to come out in the late 80s? So I am a power metal fan. I am. I love it. I love some of it. Not all of it, but there's a lot of really good ones. So there was a German power metal band that came out in 1987. And as far as I know, they still have more albums coming out today, which is awesome. I am talking about the illustrious Helloween.
See,
some of us have heard of them, some of us have not.
I wanted to put them on my list, but I felt like they had too big of a following.
Even though they do have a very big following, a lot of people don't mention them. Haven't mentioned them in forever. You know what I mean? And they've still been going strong. It might be just because maybe they're bigger in the Western Europe as opposed to over here in the States. But man, when Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 1 came out in 87, I was hooked.
I got that album right after it came out too.
Again, I bought it based off of the fucking front cover.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I did. Look, if I wonder if I can make the picture bigger. Let me try. Oh yeah.
Damn, you must have been
Give
like 12.
There it is. You have this like dark wizard kind of guy holding this like orb in his hand, and I'm like, yes, black fucking magic. Let's go. So I bought it and instantly became a fan.
All right.
So if you haven't heard them, check them out.
Yeah.
All right. Kyler, why do you miss Icebreaker? They just put out a new album last year. And they're great. Another great German industrial band.
I do dig them. I actually dig them a lot, for sure.
I'm just confused why Kyler said he misses them. They just put out a new album last year. It's not like they went anywhere.
Again, so much comes out so much now. It's like, how do you keep up literally with everything unless you're
that is true.
Part of their email list? That's the only way you find out from a lot of the bands that aren't mainstream bands. They're more undergroundish or independent. The only way to keep up with them is through fucking email.
Yeah, especially since,
especially if they're from another country.
Algorithms and crap. We don't see their shit on Facebook anymore.
Fuck you, Facebook. I said it. What are you gonna do? You gonna kick me off? Fuck you.
How about fuck you, JD?
Fuck you, JD.
All
right, Reese, what you got?
Okay, my next one, which is the 6th album. I've actually seen this band. It came out in 2011 as well. It is a metal gaze band, and this album was, I found it in Terrorizer magazine in their end of the year best albums list, and it was all Decibel also had them. Decibel had them at like number 24 or 25, something like that, and I think Terrorizer had them at number like 6, 7, or 8, somewhere around there. And the band is Junius, and the album is Reports from the Threshold of Death.
I love it already.
So this stuff, it's a little bit like Tears for Fears.
Okay.
In the way that some of their singing is, but man, it's heavy and down-tuned, super heavy, pretty slow, but not doom. It's not doom, but it's like metal gaze, really like atmospheric, low end, not as heavy as Neurosis, not even close to that. But
fucking Neurosis.
So this album is outstanding. Once again, from front to back, every song is a banger, and I bet most people don't even know about him. I saw him in a bar in either Tempe or no, it was in Mesa, Arizona, and there was only about 20 of us there. And this is about a year after this album came. They'd already been in Terrorizer and in Decibel, and still about 20 people came out.
Wow.
I guarantee you, if sometimes you can't handle listening to heavy music all of the time, like Ghoster Brigade, this is another kind of palate cleanser.
Right. For sure.
Junius, Reports from the Threshold of Death.
You know, and there are bands. One of them, very big from New York, especially in like the doom genre, called False Gods. They literally during COVID were invited to do one of their from the studio shows that you could catch online. Fucking huge, fucking phenomenal band from New York, signed to a very small independent label. They're still playing to small crowds. It just goes to show you that you could be in these big publications, and this is what I fucking hate, because venues don't advertise. They put it on their little calendar, but are they flyering you to death? No. Do they give you constant reminders? Not really, unless you happen to catch it, just kind of going by, seeing what's going on, and maybe you liked or said that you're interested in going to the show. Maybe you went, maybe you didn't. But man, it's promotion. Promotion is just so heavily needed for these bands. You know, that's why I was kind of really excited, not only for the challenge of this particular edition of the show, but because it's like maybe no one caught on to them originally because there wasn't a whole lot of promotion. Just what?
Uh-oh.
So.
Oh, you good? You good?
Okay. Got you back. You had a glitch.
Yep.
Ah! So all I was saying was I just hate the lack of promotion for some of these killer fucking amazing bands. And then suddenly they're nationally touring and show up in your town and you're like, who the fuck is this? Why should I go?
For sure.
I digress. Next.
Genghis.
Oh, is it my turn?
You're up, dude.
All right, Reaper went on that tangent, and I couldn't remember who went.
How are you, Reaper?
All right. My next one, I'm sticking with Deutschland. And I'm going with a German ambient black metal group called Fullness. They dropped an EP in 2000. Ambient? Yeah, you heard me. Ambient black metal.
The fuck is that? I feel stupid now. There's what? what do they
Okay,
call
so
it?
it's black metal, but it's
Symphonic black metal. I've heard of that.
right.
But ambient? What makes it ambient?
There's a lot of like ambient noises in the background, I suppose, like atmospheric shit.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So it's not like an orchestra like Godflesh
No.
Apocalypse or something
No.
like that. Okay.
Not really.
Hmm.
Anyway, yeah, they put out.
Interesting.
I wasn't sure whether to count EPs as albums. I said, fuck it, close enough. It's more than 20 minutes. It's good enough.
Well, I hate to tell you, nowadays new bands are not coming out with 10-song fucking records
That is true.
because for some reason nobody wants to listen to 10 of them.
Mm.
They can handle like 5-6 songs and figure out whether or not they fucking like it. It's like,
Mhm.
Yeah,
son of a bitch. I want to listen to the whole thing.
for sure. But, yeah, in 2005, they put out an EP called Letharg, and I fucking love it. It's 21 minutes of just fucking badass, kind of creepy in parts. Good old.
Creepier the better. I love me some
Yeah.
creepy shit.
It's good.
Nice.
Are you guys going to write all of these, or Genghis? I guess you would be the one. Are you going to write these down, like when on YouTube, where you can click and see more, and we could have all of our lists.
That'd be kind of fun.
That would
Yeah.
be cool.
People can go through and come back to it, and check it out.
That's a good idea.
That's not a bad idea at all, because I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah.
We're opening up people's eyes and ears to something new. Maybe you
I'm
didn't
gonna
know
write
about
that
these people.
down.
Yeah.
All right, I just wrote that down. We'll start doing that at some point.
All right.
So I always like being the wild card. So I'm gonna be the wild card this time. We're gonna go back to the late 60s, probably somewhere around 64, 65, 66. Arguably, there has always been the argument, who was the creators of the doom genre?
Mm-hmm.
Was it Sabbath?
Yes.
Or was it this band that I bet you is so fucking obscure, unless, you're like me, who is like a fucking, music nerd, and I like finding origins, and, sometimes I'll see it or hear it, read it in a magazine or something. And one of the bands that has been kind of noted for being one of the originators of the doom idea is a band called The Misunderstood. And they had a series of singles in the 60s, but they weren't really prevalent in the 70s. But when the 80s hit, they came out with an album called The Golden Glass. I believe this was 1983. They were a band that didn't really catch on during that whole hippie phase, but they've since then, like I said, from the 80s till, for a little bit further in the future, there's really not much more of the catalog. I listened to some of it, and there's a lot of the fuzz element and a lot of just, very kind of downtrodden lyrics and very droney. When we think of doom bands today, things are very droney, very kind of slow, ethereal. Not so much of in the 60s, though, you listen to some of that shit, they got all kinds of weird sounds, and the fuzz, kind of like taking a page out of Jimi Hendrix's book. And I was just kind of like, did they actually have some of those elements? Now, would I say they created doom metal? It's such a hard fucking argument. I don't know. I can't say. I'll always go with fucking Sabbath.
Yeah.
I can't help it. There was nothing more depressing than them. But some of it was there. There was a lot of elements there. So I kind of challenge listeners out there, Three Witches Land, check out some of that stuff in the mid 60s, almost late 60s. Listen to a couple of them, see what you think.
Genghis, we will from now on refer to Reaper as Reaper, the what should we say here?
Mm.
Eclectic, eccentric. Reaper the eccentric. Wow, I can't wait to check this out.
It's different.
I'm intrigued.
Oh shit! There it is, Reaper the eccentric. I'll take it. I'll take it all day. I don't give a fuck. I like it actually, but yeah, it's just it's one of those things like you get curious. How many times do you hear arguments being made that fucking Led Zeppelin was heavy metal? Mm-hmm. No. Or when heavy metal was created, Sabbath. But Doom, there's some elements there before Sabbath came around that kind of point to that type of aesthetic.
All right.
And it's not always occultish either. It doesn't have to have the occult in it. We love our occult in it, but it's a sound, it's a feeling, it's how it makes you move, that kind of thing. So, yeah. Plus, I'm sure there was a lot of drugs involved. The 60s being the 60s, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, the Beatles ended up becoming fuzz-oriented not long after Jimmy, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right on. I'm in.
I don't know. I grew up in a classic rock 50s hits household. So I was kind of fortunate to hear some of this stuff at a very early age. And I don't know. I just find myself kind of going back and checking different things out and, you know, as it pertains to today's music.
Oh, dang. I'm fortunate then. I got listening to Crystal Gayle and Dolly Parton and
Nice.
That's who my parents listened to.
Oh, you poor thing.
Oh, trust me, my mom loved her some Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
I guess I'm number one.
9 to 5.
I grew up in a metal household, so.
Well, you're lucky.
Wow.
I did not.
Me either.
It was Bob fucking Seger and Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, Cream. Still love Cream. All those really good, not the what they called the mainstream rock bands of the 70s. It was more of like the stuff that parents were like, no, you must not listen to this. You know, that type of shit. I love it. Blue Cheer too.
So if you've heard of Paradise Lost, which have
big time
goth, they always have a bit of doom, kind of death doom at times.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Vocals, by the way, their last 3 albums have been outstanding for Paradise Lost. Love it. I lost the middle one of the last 3 called Medusa. I don't know where the hell. Maybe I misplaced it. I categorized it wrong. But anyway, the guitarist who used to have the longest hair and these long fingernails, he's kind of a bigger guy. He came up with a band, and this is more of a grind band that honed in on the Swedish death metal tone. And nice. I heard The Fragile King by Valenfire.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh, crap. And he's since broken the band up. Never got to see him. This is another 2012 release. This album is outstanding. So it wasn't that hard for me because most of the bands that I listen to aren't very mainstream. And I just go back. 2011 must have been one hell of a year for me because I think back to what album just did I listen to over and over and over and over and over again. And this was one of them. This is heavy, kind of shorter songs. They put out 3 albums, but this is, I think it's called A Fragile King. Yeah, Fragile King. This album is outstanding. If you like the heavier side of things, but it's also a bit doomy, really low-tuned guitars and brutal, great vocals, just nasty kind of grind album, but not super, super fast. It is not super, super fast. Excellent album. I really think everyone who's into extreme metal would really like this album.
All right.
Alan Fire.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing about grind. It doesn't have to be all squealing pigs and how fucking fast we can throw 30-second notes through a span of 10 seconds to be good, and let's talk about it. The 2010 decade was really owned by Sweden across the board. Death metal, black metal, doom especially. And correct me if I'm wrong, is that also where Ghost came from?
Yep.
Yeah. So every fucking genre of metal, damn near, like all the ones that really kind of like stand out above all the rest. Man, there's something in the water over there, and I've said it 1,000 times. Can it? Let me drink it. I want it. Which is no secret for my next fucking album. Oh, wait. Or is it Genghis's turn? Fuck.
It's Genghis.
Oh, okay.
Shit. I tried to preempt. Fuck.
That's okay.
My bad.
My next one is
What'd
you say?
You are Reaper the Eccentric.
Exactly. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
All right. I'm going this time with a Canadian doom metal band.
Oh, really?
I'm not entirely
Canada?
sure how. Yes, sir. Not 100% sure I pronounced their name. It's Wood of Ypres.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm going
Definitely
with
got me
the
interested.
2012 album Gray Skies and Electric Light.
Yep.
I
Must
found something
not
you've
have
heard
got
of.
a lot
I'm
of
amazed.
press in the U.S.
Probably not.
Because I'm surprised it didn't hit my radar.
Yeah, they're like doom with like some folk elements.
Yeah,
Okay.
Seems like one of the band members just died. This would be about probably 10 years ago, I would say. 8 or 10 years ago. Maybe I'm wrong. I might be thinking of a different band, but I think they had somebody who passed away.
I think so. And they definitely had kind of a typo-ish type.
Quite possible. Oh, kind of a typo-ish kind of vibe.
A bit, yeah.
Nice. Because the band that I keep hearing about, and I'm sure some of us may have heard of them, that everyone is raving about from Canada is Crypta. Crypta is what they call Canadian folk metal, but it's a mix of more. So when you said like the folkish vibe, that's the first band I thought of because I've heard them. It's pretty fucking badass shit. But to be more on the doom tip, I might have to check them out.
For sure. And that was Wood of Ypres. It's Ypres.
Yeah, it's those little subtleties. So hopefully those of you out there in Three Witches Land want to check them out. Make sure you you have the correct spelling. Still, this feeds right into what I was starting to do before I fucked up and went out of order. So we're in the doom genre, and we're still in that decade from, I guess you'd say it's 2011 to 2020. There was one band from Sweden in the doom genre as doom was starting to become the thing to do, although it's been the thing to do since the 70s. But for some reason, all the younger folk caught on to doom metal later in their early years. And there's one record that really started it off, and it's not notably their top record. I am talking about the Swedish Doom Masters, Monolord. Their first record came out in 2000, and it was either 2013 or 2014. Shit, I can't even read my own writing. It's called Something Rising. Sorry. God damn it. My marker fucked up as I was writing it down. Anyway, their first album. So all you got to do is Google it. You know, we live in a Google age, so be a Google girl, kid, whatever. That first record started a fucking chain reaction that has catapulted them to the fucking doom titans they are today in 2022. You know, a lot of people kind of caught on to them 2 albums later. Unfortunately, that the name of that album is fucking leaving me. But they're, if I remember correctly, they are a 3-piece. And they are sick as fuck. I'm talking about Tony Iommi, like that kind of riffing that is just so unrelenting. It's detuned, it's low, the fuzz it's never been fuzzier. The drums are tasty as fuck. Sometimes, I mean, there's like just kind of like this flawless move back and forth from drone to, you know, halftime. Some of those, I love songs that turn into like this part in the middle suddenly becomes a jam. Completely leaves the original riff, something new, and then comes back to it. It just hits hard as fuck. So if you're a Monolord fan, go back and listen to the first fucking record, please. I love it.
Well, I'm intrigued again. I can't wait to listen to this one. Sounds really good.
Yeah, there's not a Doom festival in America. I mean, literally everywhere there's a Doom festival now in multiple states. And every last one of them wants them to be the main act, the headliner. There's a reason for that. They're fucking sick. And those guys tour like nobody's business. Holy shit.
All right. That one's getting risk. Okay.
Killer.
All right. So I'm stuck in 2011 once again.
Who could have guessed?
You guys did a Loudwire, like top 50 or top 100 albums. And I listened to you two talk. And this is where I heard about your love affair with JD.
Love-hate relationship. I love you. I hate you. I kill you. Yeah.
Yep.
And
That's his writing style.
I heard you guys talk about this album. It was listed as one of the top, in the top 100 Loudwire. I don't know if I trust Loudwire with too much, but
we don't.
No.
Everything we've ever done by Loudwire has been complete shit.
Yep.
This
Once in a blue moon, they get it right.
So this is one of the early Norwegian black metal bands.
Nice.
And once I say this, I know that Reaper's going to know who this is right away.
More than likely.
Around 98 to 2000, they started to get a little proggy with their black metal. And then they started to even bring in some clean vocals around the mid 2000s. And this album, once I heard it, and this was in Terrorizer and Decibel magazine, and this was in the top 5 for 2011. And I have to agree. Triptychon was in there, Agaloff was in there, and Triptychon, holy cow, I should have
fucking love that band.
Oh, I should have put them in here. I love Triptychon. Shame that they just don't tour a whole bunch and haven't done much in years. So anyways, my band is Enslaved, Axioma, Ethica, Odini. This song, and like I've heard people talk about and say Retier, which came out a couple years after it, is better. Every album they've done, like Overkill and many other bands, is excellent. But this album is the most well done. Really good black metal elements in it and really good prog. And they changed tempo, super well produced, excellent album. If you haven't heard Enslaved, Axioma, Ethica, Odini, you should hear this from front to back.
Bless you, sir.
Everyone, you like these are. I listened to this album like crazy. 2011 was one hell of a year for me. Holy crap!
You know, it's like having that friend that just listens to a lot of underground stuff, and suddenly you notice, oh, my cat is now in the frame. Anyway, uh, Devil Kitty. But it's like that one guy that suddenly wears this T-shirt, and you're like, who are they? And I've had friends like that over the last few years that I've seen an Enslaved T-shirt and was like, I need to check them out. So they're definitely one of those diamonds in the rough.
Yeah.
But you never knew that they've been around for quite some time.
And name a band that sounds like them.
Especially when you're talking about black metal, because so many of them, I hate to say it, sound the same.
I agree.
In a lot of ways. But it's those ones that stand out, like Behemoth, Mayhem, Dimmu Borgir, Cradle of Filth. Don't get it fucking twisted, people. Cradle of Filth was a black metal band long before they got into all the symphonic shit.
For sure.
Listen to the first record. Tell me I'm lying. So, there's just some of those few bands that really fucking stand out amongst the rest. And I'm also a huge Gorgoroth fan.
Oh, love them.
To me, they were different.
Yep.
From, a lot of the rest of the bands coming out at the time. Even in all of their incarnations. It's kind of like they ebbed and flowed with their style a little bit, with having a lot of the same elements and stuff, but there was differences.
Mm-hmm.
If you're an attentive listener, you'll catch them.
Else, if you think about Danzig's first solo album, or the Danzig album, if you take that and mix it with the early really good black metal bands, I give you Satyricon era, like 2003 up till present. So many people think Satyricon have sold out, but I don't think they are. They call it black and roll, and I think it's amazing.
What the fuck is wrong with that?
Song and Frost's drum playing, one of my favorite drummers of all time. I love Satyricon. That's another one that honorable.
Highly underrated band.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Black metal purists love to shit on them all right away. They changed, and they actually sound different. They separated themselves from everybody else. And it's
who else did that?
I don't care that they've slowed it down. It's still really interesting.
Behemoth did the same fucking thing. They were like those first 4 records, boom, 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 just fucking like machine gun, Gatling gun type shit. And then all of a sudden the Satanists came out and changed everyone's minds forever. Even the critics were like, black metal bands can evolve. Yes, you can. You can change things and still have the same elements there. So the idea of purists, I hate getting into conversations with them.
Yeah.
I argue every fucking time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What number are we at, by the way?
I believe is it my turn? I think it is.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Genghis, and with his number 9.
Yeah, with number 9.
Gotcha.
All right, my number 9. I'm veering a little bit outside of metal. This is more hard rock. But that's okay.
No,
huh?
That's all right. We'll beat you later.
Well, at least I can honestly say Reaper, I might have played it for you, but no one else has ever fucking heard of this, so.
No, you might have.
I probably have. So, unless you're from Maine and you were hanging out in clubs in the 90s and early 2000s, you probably don't know this band. The band is Twisted Roots, and in 2008 they put out what they called their best of Volume 1, but they hadn't actually released most of the songs previously on record. But anyway, that's beside the point. A family friend of mine used to be in the band, but they should have fucking gotten big. I mean, they're almost similar to Godsmack-ish, but better.
You know, it's funny. The name rings a bell.
I'm sure I've talked about it.
Probably. I'm just not kind of like, I don't know. I couldn't remember like what they sound like.
Mm,
There's a chance you probably played it for me.
I probably
and
did.
I was kind of like, pretty interesting because I mean, there are some, I guess, what you would call a little bit more lighter metal bands. Even, hard rock and metal they're a fine fucking line.
For sure.
There are people to this day that still call AC/DC metal.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
You know what I mean? So that's cool. I'll definitely check them out. You're saying like is it heavier than Godsmack or just like in that vein?
It's in that vein.
Okay. Well, I have to say, for a band like Godsmack, obviously before he found God.
Did he really?
Yes.
When the fuck was that?
Why do you think suddenly they disappeared for a little while? Because suddenly it wasn't Godsmack, it was God, please. That's what I say.
I didn't hear about that.
Suddenly that happened and he ditched his pagan roots after the big success of Faceless, which will always be one of my fucking favorites from them that I actually really dug and like felt a lot of it. I don't go like much, but for, that particular record, I really fucking dug. I just liked a lot of what they said. I liked the riffing. And it was a little bit more aggressive, I think.
Yeah.
I would say. So, yeah, when that next album came after that, the rumor got around. People found out about it. Sully was like, yeah. And suddenly the fan base was like, they didn't become a Christian metal band. Don't get me wrong.
Thank goodness for that.
They didn't do that. It's just that people just was like, you talk all this shit, but you don't believe it? You just ditched it? It's like, like a fucking turncoat. I don't know. So, but, style-wise, it's not bad. As long as the elements are there. So I'd be willing to check them out.
I wrote it down.
Here's a band that, I mean, a lot of people just from the 80s alone will always mention. But in the last, let's say the last 10 years, the band is not really talked about a lot, but they're still going. And let's face it, they birthed one of the great bass players who has, well, at least he's played for Ozzy for a little bit, so that was awesome. And then suddenly found himself playing for Metallica. And I'm talking about Robert Trujillo. I love him as a bass player. But man, when he got caught on video doing those cover songs with Kirk, and he did a version of Prince, When Doves Cry, and forgot the words, and it was so bad. It was so horrible. I was like, you motherfucker, what is wrong with you? What are you drinking? But he started out in a killer fucking metal band called Suicidal Tendencies. And they were very different. They had some hardcore elements. They had just really good metal influence. I mean, they started way back in the 80s, almost mid 80s, but like 83, 84, 85.
Yes.
And I got to go with their very first record. Super aggressive, super different, and it had groove. And that's one of the things I loved about them the most. They could bring kind of like that thrash beat but almost kind of rap style a little bit here and there. If you haven't heard Suicidal Tendencies, you might not know what I'm talking about, but they were one of like the first ones to do it long before Anthrax got with Public Enemy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I kind of got to give it to them as a pioneer of that, because it suddenly got called nu metal in the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
But they were already doing it. They didn't have no DJ, nothing like that. I mean, dude's famous for wearing the bandana like slightly over his eyes, you know, like I came from the barrio, man. And it was just so different and so cool. So if you like thrash meets hardcore meets kind of like, you know, hip hopish a little bit, great shit. Check it out.
First, they're heaviest. And I saw your mommy, and your mommy's dead. I saw her in a pool of red.
That shit hit so fucking hard. Me, as the little metalhead that I was at the time, was like huge. You know, I was like so enthralled with like horror metal and concept metal and power metal and thrash and you know, all that type of stuff. And then they came out and it was just like, whoa. They're talking about real life shit. It ain't fiction.
Yeah,
they seen it. They lived it. It was different. You know what I mean? And then that's kind of how I sort of found the Cro-Mags not too far after that.
Yep. Institutionalized that song.
Oh, man, that was a hit.
My parents really hated that song.
They sure did. As a matter of fact, I think they got banned for a minute because of it. Somewhere, MTV might have been. Yeah, probably. You know,
but that was the album that got me into extreme metal. Before that, it was Twisted Sister, Quiet Riot, Motley Crue, and after that, wow.
You know, and it's like I just hate Motley Crue for putting out 2 good records and the rest was shit.
I just hate that they took John 5.
Yeah. Johnny Five has now officially replaced Mick Mars, the only musician in the band who was worth a fucking damn.
Yes, I agree.
And he's gone now. If it wasn't for Mick Mars, fucking fuck the rest of those 3 assholes. I'm sorry. I'm not afraid to say it. Fight me.
And what a fucking waste of Johnny Five's talent. Fucking Molly. No.
Johnny Five's probably thinking this. I've played for Manson. I've played for Rob Zombie. I've played for all the mega titans of the last 20 years. Let me go play lead guitar for a don't ask me why. Celebrated fucking Motley Crue party band and let me make $6 million.
Yeah.
And I could say I did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's way too good for them. But at the same token, though, Mick Mars passing the torch to him, I kind of see it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, why are you playing guitar for Vince, fat fuck asshole, burnt out, no voice talent piece of shit?
Yeah.
Have you seen the videos of him live?
Yeah.
Sometimes he's so fucking drunk, the only thing he can go is fucking atrocious.
Yeah, you brought up.
I'm so glad you brought that up.
You brought up one band, Too Fast for Love from Motley Crue. That could be in that. A lot of people haven't heard that album. They've heard Shout at the Devil, but they haven't heard Too Fast for Love. Absolutely.
Yeah, I caught on to him at that.
Every song is excellent.
It was good. It was just like anthem, like teenage angst type shit, you know, especially for the 80s when we were so fucking oppressed. You know, I don't know. It was good shit. And then they got big and blew up and definitely sold the fuck out. I'll tell you that. But you know, one of the funniest things about them is that Mick Mars was always the oldest member of the band.
He
Guy
looked,
was like 30 when they started. He's another vampire.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So my number 9 is a band, once again, Terrorizer Magazine and Decibel Magazine heralded this album as really well as an outstanding album. It made their like top 25 or top 30 list for the year. And it is outstanding. Now, this is one to where a lot of people might argue that it's not metal. The last 2 albums that they put one out last year, and then they put out one like in, I think it was 2016. They took away a lot of the distortion and a lot of the heaviness. But in this album in 2011, this is super, super heavy. It's pretty simple. The songs are very melancholy, but really heavy, really slow, but not doom. Really soulful, though. Like, they're kind of like melancholic love songs in a way. But to me, this album is metal, but it's super unique. It's kind of simple, but very unique. I give you 40 Watt Sun, and the name of the album is The Inside Room from 2011. One of the most boring album covers ever. It's like these clouds, just gray, black, with says
It's
40,
simplicity, you know.
40 Watt Sun. But another album that when I would get ready for work in the morning, I used to listen to this all of the time. If you feel a little bit blue or down, you can listen to this and sing along with it. And to me, it's really, really moody, really brooding, heavy, thick, but slow, but not doom. Are you intrigued?
Very
Very
actually.
much.
So give it a try. 40 Watt Sun, The Inside Room.
Hell yeah.
All right. All right. Now, I wouldn't be Genghis if I didn't somehow weave my favorite band into this.
Oh,
But I'm not talking about Moonspell. I'm not. I'm talking about the first incarnation of Moonspell back when they used the name Morbid God. They dropped an EP in 1993 called Anno Satanae, and holy shit. I only recently got to hear it within the past couple years because it was completely out of print until I bought like a special deluxe edition box set thing where they did a limited reprinting of it.
Mm.
It's
Now
actually
that's
really
cool as
fun.
fuck.
I know. Actually, right here.
It's so obscure that he had to buy the box set.
Mm.
I like it.
Actually, what's really cool is they made the CD disc look like a record.
Mm.
Oh, that's bad as fuck.
It is.
I didn't know you could do that.
I didn't either. Somehow they did it.
Reaper's other favorite band, Pearl Jam, did that.
You know what? Okay. I'll clear the air on that one.
Mhm.
First record, beautiful. That whole first record was great. Everything after that was garbage. 10 was, I mean, you never heard anything like it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because, oh, they're from Seattle. Fuck you. No, it's because I heard the track Alive and thought it was decent. More so because of not his voice. Let me tell you. It was definitely because of the musicianship. It was, again, heavy in a different way. You know what I mean? There was a lot of like classic rock influence in there. And they were just intelligent musicians, but man, they fucking missed the boat. They even tried to go punk for a little while, and that was Just,
Yeah, those offerings when Pearl Jam goes that route, it's really kind of insipid.
I don't know what the fuck too much wine. I think that was his problem. He's a goddamn wino. You know what I mean? It just got worse from there.
They do still have some good songs on a lot of their albums. Like there'll be 2 or 3 that are good, but then a lot of them are that kind of modern rock and roll, kind of with a punk edge, that type of stuff that I just don't like. It's really boring.
It was. I forget which album it was. It was completely black, and they got a new drum. I'd swear, as soon as Dave Abruzzi left as the original drummer, and they got the other guy who was from a famous punk band. I forget which one. Might have been Black Flag's last drummer.
Soundgarden.
No, it wasn't Matt Cameron.
Okay.
No, they literally plucked him from a decent sized punk band from a decade or so beforehand. I just can't remember his name. Anyways, when it got to that point, it was like, this is garbage. Literally bought it, listened to one song, threw it out. That's what happened. So do I praise them for at least their first record? Sure. Everything else, garbage.
All right.
It's kind of how I felt about the Black Crowes too.
Oh yeah.
Everything after the first 2 records, garbage.
Boring.
I think I'm going to end on this particular album because I think people need to know about it. I just do. It was one of those overlooked bands in the 80s. That's why I was really trying to find some like bands you don't normally hear people talk about. And they were only just recently either in Loudwire or Metal Injection for going on tour after how many fucking years. And they were getting some steam under them. And then unfortunately, the lead singer ended up passing away, sadly.
Right.
But man, if you were a kid in the 80s or just a metalhead in general, and you want to hear some really good chugga, hard-hitting, not really extreme, but, they were kind of in a class of their own. And I'm talking about Metal Church. Some people might have found their name pretentious or I don't know. But damn it, when I saw the first record come out and it was like this really kind of silver reflective front cover. And I was like, And then, of course, I found out a couple of my buddies had listened to it and they really dug it. So I was like, all right, I'm going to give it a roll. Fucking loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Heavy, clean, brilliant vocals. Not quite power metal-ish, but just good rip-roaring metal that you could just jam to.
Yeah.
So, for you youngins out there, maybe 30-something or whatever, go back and check out those records. It's sad that they weren't celebrated until just recently, in my opinion. They were titans. They were a force to be reckoned with. But, man, when the 90s hit,
Yep.
the industry just took a turn for the worst, and they got forgotten about.
Grunge killed them. They were great. Like, to me, a lot of their riffage reminded me of Metallica. Like, when I listened to one of their albums, I really loved them when I got into them in early.
Yeah, I have to agree. It was almost like Metallica, but with clean vocals.
Yeah.
The singer was brilliant.
Oh, yeah, he was. Great choice. Great choice. Can't go wrong with that. So, my last one, number 10. The band used to be called Extol. I'm not sure if they're from, I think it's either Norway or Sweden. I should have researched that a little bit more, but Extol has a bit of a Christian element to it, although I never really picked it up in their lyrics all that much. Mantric was when they had found religion and then they moved into this kind of kind of thickly veiled Christian kind of, but it really isn't. Like it's awesome. This album, it's a bit progressive. It's European. It really has a European feel. It's a little thrashy at times, but progressive. And this album came out in 2010. It's Mantric, and it's called The Descent. One hell of an album. And I got this from reading Terrorizer magazine. They talked about them, and I said, you know what? I'm going to go check this out. And I loved it. At that point in my life, I was in an instrumental progressive band. And so I was really into prog metal. And this one was outstanding. Not pretentious in any way. But just give it a try. It's hard to describe it. It does have yelling vocals in it and a lot of clean vocals, beautiful clean tones, and then heavy, more kind of thrash involved tones. But Mantric, The Descent, it's an excellent album. I guarantee you, beginning to end, you will like it.
You know, and that's really interesting because, you know, a lot of people probably wouldn't guess that just because something is labeled Christian doesn't mean I'm not going to listen to it. I mean, I was not a Stryper fan, never will be. But there was a band that came out in the early 2000s called Demon Hunter.
Yep.
And yeah, they were labeled as a Christian death metal band. But you know what? They never really pushed a message out onto you. And you could just dig the style, the metal, and the voice was good. So I would say, you know, I could get down with that. Would I play it constantly? Probably not. But I liked it when I heard it. Just because it was good. It was just good fucking musicianship. So I'm not going to turn something away just because they're labeled that way. That's a marketing ploy, people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Take Guns N' Roses for a second. Never labeled as a, you know, pagan or satanic band, anything like that. But, you know, they're all whatever they believe, whatever. But they were just a good band at the time. Because obviously they went south fast. But anyway, so, you know, I would never dismiss something like that. So I would actually give Mantric a listen.
Yeah. Damn good.
See, I'm not like our oppressors. I don't shun my eyes at things just because, oh, well, this is what they believe. It's not very satanic of me. Cool stuff. Just I don't know. Hopefully all of you out there in Three Witches Land, you found this very informative.
Absolutely.
I don't know. This is probably one of our best ones ever.
Agreed.
Since we've started. I've learned a lot. I'm sure the rest of, you guys have also. It's true. There is so much good shit out there. But because they don't get, the big push, the big magazines, although most of the ones that Hoofbeast said were in a lot of these big magazines, but you probably still don't know about them.
That is true.
Because whatever label they're on, or if they're independent, doing it their own way, you don't necessarily find out about them unless they show up on somebody's tour, stuff like that. So, damn, give it a listen. I will say this until my last breath. The underground is where it's at.
Yes.
And I have to give a big shout out to a lot of the Kingside Records bands just because, they're not huge. They're not doing full on like big ass fucking tours or nothing. But there's a wealth of fucking metal there that's worth a listen. And I can think back to one of the Reapers Underground shows we did with the band that I was super fucking excited about. And then all of a sudden they showed up on Psycho Las Vegas, one of the biggest metal fests in the country. Motherfucking Iron Horse from Salem, Massachusetts.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You just don't know. Just because they're not big doesn't mean they're not great. All right. Thank you all so much for tuning in. It's been a killer motherfucking night. I now have a new name. So I'm excited about that. Got to get the t-shirt. Tune in for next time. We're going to have a new, topic as far as what we've been going through. So if you dug it, share the shit out, like it, and tune in next time. But when you're taking your makeup off, you're getting ready for bed. Maybe you'll have a snack. Stay heavy.